So, there's been a ton of buzz lately in the crypto space, and a lot of it is circling around one specific project, the Pi Network. If you've been on the internet at all, you've probably seen the chatter. People are talking about a massive development, something that could potentially change the game for everyone who's been patiently mining Pi on their phones for years. This isn't just another small update or a minor bug fix. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how the community is starting to value the digital currency they've been accumulating. It's a conversation that has been building for months, and now, it's finally reaching a fever pitch, creating waves of excitement and a healthy dose of skepticism. This whole conversation revolves around a concept known as the Global Consensus Value, or GCV, and specifically a very particular number, $314,159. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a bold, ambitious valuation that has the entire Pi community, and even some outsiders, turning their heads and asking a lot of questions. Is it real? Is it sustainable? What does it even mean? This isn't just a random number pulled out of thin air, it's a figure that a significant portion of the community is rallying behind, pushing for it to become the standard for transactions within the Pi ecosystem. This movement represents a massive, grassroots effort to define value from the ground up, directly from the users themselves. The reason this is such a huge deal right now, especially as we head into late 2025, is because the Pi network is getting closer and closer to its much-anticipated open mainnet launch. This is a story you need to know about right now. Alright, let's start with the basics. You keep hearing this term GCV thrown around. It stands for Global Consensus Value. It's a price a large group collectively agrees on for an asset. In this case, the Pi coin. Think of it like a massive, community-wide agreement. It's not a price set by an exchange, it's not a price set by a government, it's not a price set by a single company, market price versus consensus value. Instead, it's a grassroots movement where users decide what one Pi is worth in trades. It puts control directly into the community's hands. Unlike traditional crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pi has been in an enclosed mainnet period. That means Pi isn't listed on public exchanges yet, so there's no official market price. This is where GCV steps in. The community attempts to establish a stable value before hitting open markets. They want an internal economy where goods and services trade at a consistent Pi rate. This prevents wild swings and early speculation. It's a bottom-up experiment in creating value in crypto. So we've established what GCV is. Now let's talk about the number that's on everyone's lips. $314,159. At first glance, it seems incredibly specific and maybe even a little random. But it's not. This number is a direct and very intentional nod to the mathematical constant Pi, which is approximately 3.14159. The Pi network was named after this constant, and the community has embraced this symbolism wholeheartedly. By choosing $314,159 as the consensus value, they are tying the currency's identity directly to its branding. It's a powerful piece of marketing and community building all rolled into one. It's memorable, symbolic, and it reinforces the project's unique identity. But this number is more than just a clever marketing gimmick. For its supporters, it represents a statement of high ambition and long-term vision. Setting such a high valuation is a way for the community to signal that they believe Pi is not just another disposable altcoin. They see it as a serious contender for a future global digital currency. The push for the $314,159 GCV is not just talk, it's actively reshaping the entire Pi ecosystem from the inside out. One of the most significant changes we're seeing is the emergence of a more sophisticated and serious barter economy. In the early days, peer-to-peer transactions were often small and experimental. But with a high consensus value, merchants and service providers are now more willing to list substantial products and services. We're moving beyond digital art, small crafts, electronics, vehicles, real estate services, all calculated based on this ambitious valuation. This elevates the entire marketplace. This movement is also forcing a change in mindset for all pioneers. It encourages them to see their Pi holdings not as speculative tokens to be dumped on an exchange, but as a real currency to be used for acquiring goods and services. This focus on utility is exactly what the Pi Core team has been advocating for. The GCV acts as a practical tool to facilitate this vision. When a user sees a smartphone listed for a fraction of a Pi coin, it makes the value tangible. It shifts the conversation from, how much will this be worth in dollars? To, what can I buy with my Pi right now? This is a crucial psychological shift for building a sustainable economy. Furthermore, the GCV is acting as a powerful filter and incentive for developers building on the Pi platform. Ultimately, this GCV movement is creating a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. So, let's bring this down to a personal level. What does the 314,159 GCV actually mean for you, the everyday user who has been diligently tapping that mining button? First and foremost, it transforms the potential value of your wallet. Let's say you've been mining for a few years and have passed the KYC or Know Your Customer process, and you have 100 migrated Pi coins in your wallet. If the community successfully establishes and maintains this GCV, your 100 Pi would represent significant purchasing power within the ecosystem. You could potentially use it to buy high-value items like a new laptop, a vacation package, or even a down payment on a car. You could use it at merchants who subscribe to the GCV. This really opens up a world of new opportunities for peer-to-peer commerce. Imagine you're a small business owner or a freelancer. You could start accepting Pi as payment for your services, calculated at the GCV rate. A graphic designer could charge a fraction of a Pi for a logo design. A local coffee shop could sell a latte for a tiny decimal of a Pi. This allows you to tap into a massive global community of millions of potential customers who are eager to use their Pi. It's a way to expand your business and acquire a new form of capital, all without relying on traditional banking systems. For consumers, the impact is just as profound. The GCV creates a real tangible use case for the coins you've accumulated. It's no longer just a number on a screen, it's a key to accessing a new digital marketplace. You can browse through apps on the Pi browser, find merchants both local and global, and purchase real products and services. Pi, backed by a strong GCV, could offer a more stable and accessible medium of exchange for their daily needs, giving them economic empowerment. You might hear supporters of the GCV talk about creating a pure ecosystem. What they mean by this is an economy that is built on genuine utility, peer-to-peer exchange, not outside speculators, not market manipulation. In a typical crypto launch, coins go to public exchanges and prices hit the whims of traders. Traders may ignore the long-term vision. Speculators buy low, sell high, causing massive volatility, harming stability for everyday transactions. No one wants to buy a pizza if the coin could be worth double or half by the end of the sale. The Pi network's enclosed mainnet is designed to prevent that. Keeping the ecosystem closed allows the pure economy to develop. The GCV, $314,159, is the centerpiece of this plan. It's meant to set a stable price based on community agreement and utility before speculators arrive. The goal: a thriving internal market, millions using Pi for real goods and services at an established value. So when Open Mainnet launches, Pi has utility-backed resilience against market pressure. What makes it pure is the focus on the individual pioneer. Anyone can mine from their phone. The model is inclusive, creating one of crypto's largest user bases. Let's talk about the potential upside, because it's what has everyone so excited. The biggest win, if the $314,159 GCV is adopted, is unprecedented value creation. Millions of early adopters would benefit. For people who have been mining since 2019, faithfully pressing a button every day, this would be a massive reward for long-term belief. It would validate their patience and could provide life-changing economic power, especially for users in developing countries. This isn't just about making a few people rich, it's about distributing potential wealth at an unprecedented scale. Another huge benefit is price stability. Volatility is a major hurdle for crypto adoption. Businesses are reluctant to accept a currency that could lose half its value overnight. By establishing a high stable GCV beforehand, the Pi network could create a more predictable environment for commerce. Millions of users and thousands of businesses transacting at that rate creates economic inertia. That stability makes Pi attractive as a medium of exchange for everyday transactions. A strong GCV also acts as a powerful magnet for ecosystem growth. High-quality developers, entrepreneurs, established businesses. This would lead to a richer and more diverse range of applications and services within the Pi browser. Complex financial instruments, sophisticated games, innovative social platforms. This creates a virtuous cycle. A valuable currency attracts developers who build useful apps, which adds more utility and reinforces value. If millions of ordinary people can bootstrap a global currency with a stable, high value, it would serve as a blueprint for future projects and could change how we think about money. Now for a dose of reality. As exciting as the GCV is, there are some significant hurdles and challenges that need to be acknowledged. So let's look at the flip side. The most obvious challenge is achieving and maintaining true consensus. While a large and vocal part of the community supports the $314,159 value, it's not unanimous. There will inevitably be users who are willing to sell their Pi for less, especially when the open mainnet launches. They then have the option to exchange it for fiat currency like US dollars. Widespread agreement is difficult to enforce in a decentralized network, and a fraction of users undercutting the GCV can put downward pressure on price. Another major hurdle is bridging the gap between the enclosed ecosystem and the external market. The $314,159 value currently exists within a bubble. The real test will be when that bubble opens up to the global crypto market. External exchanges operate on supply and demand. The price will be determined by what buyers are willing to pay. If many pioneers cash out on exchanges, the massive increase in supply could push market price far below the GCV. There's also the challenge of economic viability and liquidity. The GCV needs enough goods and services to absorb the massive purchasing power it creates. Finally, consider the risk of perception and regulation. Such a high pre-market valuation could draw regulator scrutiny as price manipulation. The Pi Core team and community must avoid framing the GCV as a price guarantee to prevent legal and reputational harm. So, with all this excitement and all these challenges, what's next for the Pi network and its community? The immediate future is all about strengthening the enclosed ecosystem. The main focus for users: continue participating in the peer-to-peer economy. This means buying with Pi. This means selling with Pi. This means goods and services transacted using Pi. More transactions honoring the GCV equals stronger consensus. Explore apps in the Pi browser. Support merchants pioneering this new economy. Consider becoming a merchant yourself if you have a skill or product. This grassroots economic activity is the most critical work right now. For the Pi Core team, continued technical development to prepare for open mainnet. Scale the blockchain to handle millions of transactions. Enhance security features. Make KYC available to as many pioneers as possible so they can migrate Pi to mainnet. Foster the developer community. Encourage creation of more utility-based apps. The $1 billion, or perhaps 314,159, question: when open mainnet? Launch happens when the ecosystem is mature enough, starting with KYC progress. Ecosystem utility, overall network stability. The GCV movement is a huge part of that. The timeline is, in many ways, in the hands of the community. The more they build and transact, the closer they get to the goal. The excitement around Pi and the GCV is palpable for a reason. It's a novel approach to creating a digital currency. The next chapter is just beginning.